they'd be like our ERP systems, which would be PeopleSoft, email, our certainly web, the internet, and that's a whole piece I can talk to in a minute. But and our current content management system is SharePoint, and you know, we're basically standardizing the Microsoft platform for the most part. But that we're beginning to revisit that even. Yeah, we have the the traditional administrative systems, which are a lot of work put into the student, the finance, and the HR. And those systems actually have provided a lot of service to both students and staff, and the entire organization has improved efficiency. It allows people to work remotely, to get information without using the traditional methods. We just implemented employee self-service, which is a long time coming, but it illustrates that we don't need to do business in the traditional way.
And student self-service as
student
well.
Self-service, absolutely. I mean, that's a big one. We don't send out marks anymore. The students can pick them up online. For those that need to pick them up in the traditional way, there's a method for them to do that, but they can do it at home if they want to. I think one of the things that I see happening that I'm really excited about is this whole Web 2.0 solution. I think there's a whole series of opportunities to virtualize our solutions. In plain English, that means making them web-based instead of traditional desktop solutions. On the client-server model that we currently run is not a cost-effective model. From a college perspective, we'd like to be able to invest in a way that delivered more efficiently and effectively to the student by shifting our dependence from the traditional desktop model to a more web type model. In our strategy, there is that we don't want to put barriers around solutions in the college. I mean, our culture is openness. On the other hand, we're only limited amount of support staff we have in the college. So our goal will be to get an agreement within the institution as to what are our primary products and what can be supported. And the rest will have to be like no guaranteed service, like be best effort. And like, it's not that we won't support you, but it'll be best effort support. So we'll have some key systems that are determined, and that'll change over a period of time, is what is strategic in the direct flow of the organization, and we'll gear our services group to manage toward that. We have those competing agendas, like we don't want to put a lot of barriers or censor activity, but on the other hand, we also don't want to expose staff or students to viruses and inappropriate activity that might have happened on the internet. Yeah, I think one of the issues that we, from a leadership perspective, is probably come up with mechanisms to govern all these ideas that come in place. One problem that we do have as an institution, I think this is not uncommon to post-secondary ed, is we have a lot of good ideas, but we don't have a vehicle yet to coordinate them, to manage them, to prioritize them. I think the barriers between the vision and the implementation, if we have a governance mechanism that or guidance sounds better because it doesn't imply such formality, but a way to guide the organization and staff to head in the right, the more aligned direction. It's just last year they made a change to legislation where you cannot have any college personal data hosted outside Nova Scotia. So we have to be careful of any solution that we have. I can, Facebook is a prime example. I could put things out there that really I don't want the world to know, and the world shouldn't know, and that can create an image because you can do a Google search on yourself, and you would be surprised what you can find out. So there's certainly some privacy issues and some public presence issues that you want to be aware of when you're posting out there as well. the culture change, the ability of the organization to adapt to change, and no matter how modern a person thinks they are personally, it can be a challenge for change. So change is always a challenge in an organization. There is an advantage to those people that are early adopters, because sometimes they adopt things, they might make the mistake of adopting too early, or they might discover an innovation that you were unaware of. So it's good, especially in my business, keep my eyes open as to what's happening. Like there's fads and then there's substantial changes. So it's always trying to parse what's happening there.
Tell me what your thoughts are about the profile of NSCC as a college. I mean, where do you see us in terms of our adoption profile, if you will?
My opinion is actually we're quite, and maybe I'm not arm's length from this, but my impression is that we're pretty innovative. We don't put even compared to our peer institutions, my sense is that we don't put a lot of barriers around people to block activity. We're actually quite encouraging. We don't yet have a lot of bureaucracy in the institution. Certainly on the technology side, one thing I like about post-secondary education is the fact that we don't have to do a detailed business case on bringing new technology in. But the technology case, I should qualify that. It's usually not financial based. It's usually from a student perspective.
Sure. What's the impact on the and the learners and the faculty and so on? Right?
Yeah. You know, looking at this, and I'm saying I'm not aware of anything out there that currently does this, and that's part of your project. That might be, but maybe it is. Maybe in a way, it's really a collection of all the individual things that are, like you said, doing a Google search. You know, really, it's a rhetorical question. That's one method. Is that one method of ePortfolio? Really, maybe your ePortfolio is a collection of all your search solutions. You know, it's like in the early days of the internet. One fad that started was to create storefronts. You know, like to create malls with different stores in there, and you could click to go into each one of them. But they found that model didn't work because with the search capabilities, you don't need to have a mall front. You can just have your boutique as a separate identity. So they found that marketing solution didn't work. So really, when you look at a person's portfolio, it could be just a search of all their activity. And that's good. I think that because these are pretty exhaustive set of but very incorporating set of requirements. The challenge will be getting college adoption and buy-in, as a process. Even the process to get this solution will be to get, steering committee. I hate to say that, but a steering committee with executive authorization to go ahead and proceed to do that. A lot of times you can have a good solution, but if it's not marketed well, if it's not, if the perception on the other side is being pushed too hard, then it just has to get the right sponsorship and the right funding and the right execution. I think the pilot is the safest way to do it, to get a group.
Pilot?
Yeah, a pilot or a small group that are sometimes sometimes important to get aligned with the power of an organization too, to get that support that can take it from the step of concept to implementation. So it's so important that first experience has been tested out, has been validated. We have to make that experience seamless, not only for the technically inclined people, but for those people that are less computer-oriented people. That says, go out and implement this project, we'll assign resources to it, let's do it. I know we've had people that have been responsible for a portfolio, but from an electronic perspective, it's never been put on a priority from my perspective.